I will never forget the look on my husband's face when I walked through the front door that Tuesday evening. He was sitting in the living room, no lights on, no television, just him, alone in the darkness, his silhouette barely visible against the fading light from the window. "Marcus," I called out, setting my purse on the entry table. "Why are you sitting in the dark? Is everything okay?" He didn't answer. I walked closer, my heels clicking against the hardwood floor, and that's when I saw it. His face was wet. My husband, my strong, steady, unshakable husband, had been crying. "Marcus, what happened? Is it the kids? Are they okay?" "The kids are fine," he said, his voice flat, empty. "They're at your mother's." "Why are they at my mother's? I didn't know." "Because I needed them out of the house, for this conversation." Something cold settled in my stomach. "What conversation?" He finally looked at me, and what I saw in his eyes made my blood run cold. Pain, betrayal, devastation. And something else. Doubt. "How long?" he whispered. "How long what? Marcus, you're scaring me." He stood up slowly, his movements heavy, deliberate. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. "How long have you been sleeping with someone else?" The words hit me like a physical blow. I stumbled backward, catching myself on the arm of the couch. "What? Marcus, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never." "Don't," his voice cracked. "Don't lie to me, Natalie. I can't take any more lies." "I'm not lying. I have never cheated on you. Never. In 12 years of marriage, I have never even looked at another man. Where is this coming from?" He held up his phone, the screen glowing in the darkness. "Diana came to see me today." Diana. My best friend. My sister in everything but blood. The woman who had been by my side since our freshman year of college, through graduations and weddings and bobbies, and every major moment of my adult life. "Diana," I repeated. "What does Diana have to do with this?" "She told me everything, Natalie. She showed me the messages, the photos. She told me about the hotel rooms and the secret meetings and the man you've been seeing for the past 6 months." I felt the room spin. "That's insane. That's completely insane. There is no man. There are no hotel rooms. There are no messages or photos or secret meetings. Diana is lying." "Why would she lie?" Marcus demanded. "She's your best friend. She was crying, Natalie. She said it was killing her to tell me, but she couldn't watch you destroy our family anymore." "Because it's not true. None of it is true." "Then explain these." He thrust the phone toward me. I took it with trembling hands and looked at the screen. Text messages. Screenshots of text messages between me and someone named Jay. Explicit messages. Romantic messages. Messages making plans to meet at hotels, to spend weekends together, to build a future after I finally left Marcus. Messages I had never written. Messages that didn't exist. "This isn't real," I said, my voice shaking. "Marcus, I swear to you, I have never seen these messages before. I don't know anyone named Jay. This is fabricated. Someone created these." "Created them? Who would do that? Who would go through the trouble of faking an entire affair?" "I don't know, but I'm telling you this isn't me. I would never do this to you. I would never do this to our family." Marcus took the phone back, his jaw clenched. "Diana showed me photos too," he said quietly. "Photos of you with another man, at a restaurant, at a park, in a car. Photos can be doctored. Screenshots can be faked. Marcus, please, you have to believe me." "I want to believe you," he said, and his voice broke again. "I have spent 12 years believing in you, in us, in this marriage. But Diana was so sure. She had so much detail. She knew things, Natalie. Things about your schedule, your habits, places you've been. Because she's my best friend. She knows everything about my life because I tell her everything. Or because she was helping you hide it." I stared at him, my mind reeling. "You think Diana was helping me have an affair. And then what? She felt guilty and decided to tell you. That doesn't make any sense." "None of this makes sense," Marcus said. "But the evidence is right here. I don't know what to believe anymore." He turned away from me, his shoulders slumped, his body radiating defeat. "I think you should sleep in the guest room tonight," he said. "I need time to think." "Marcus, please." "I can't look at you right now, Natalie. I can't." He walked away, disappearing up the stairs, leaving me alone in the darkness with a phone full of lies and a marriage crumbling around me. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in the guest room bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing through every possibility. Diana had lied. That much was clear. The messages were fake, the photos were doctored, the entire affair was a fabrication. But why? Why would my best friend, the woman I had trusted more than anyone except Marcus, try to destroy my marriage? What did she have to gain? I replayed our entire friendship in my head, searching for clues, for warning signs, for anything that might explain this betrayal. We had met in college during freshman orientation. She was funny and outgoing and immediately adopted me as her best friend. We were inseparable for 4 years, studying together, partying together, crying over boys together. After graduation, we stayed close. I moved to Chicago for my marketing career. She followed a year later. We were bridesmaids at each other's weddings. I held her hand during her divorce 3 years ago. She was the first person I called when I found out I was pregnant with Olivia and again with Ethan. She was family. Or so I thought. As the hours passed, I kept returning to one thought. The cameras. 3 months ago, after a string of break-ins in our neighborhood, Marcus and I had installed a comprehensive home security system. Cameras in every major room, the living room, kitchen, hallways, front and back doors. Motion-activated recording with audio. Cloud storage that kept footage for 90 days. We had installed them for protection. Now they might save my marriage. If Diana had been in my house, and she had been multiple times over the past few months, the cameras would have captured everything, every conversation, every moment when she thought no one was watching. I needed to see that footage. I waited until I heard Marcus leave for work the next morning. He didn't come to the guest room. He didn't say goodbye. He just left, the front door closing with a finality that made my heart ache. As soon as his car disappeared down the street, I went to the living room and logged into the security system. 90 days of footage, hundreds of hours of recordings. I started with the most recent, Diana's visits over the past month. She had been here 4 times, once for coffee, once to drop off a birthday present for Ethan, once to help me pick out a dress for a work event, and once, 2 weeks ago, when she stopped by while I was at the grocery store and Marcus was at work. That visit was strange. I remembered it vaguely. She had texted saying she was in the neighborhood and needed to use the bathroom. I told her where we kept the spare key and said I'd be home in 30 minutes. When I got home, she was sitting in the living room, looking completely normal. But what happened during those 30 minutes when she was alone in my house? I pulled up the footage, and what I saw changed everything. Diana entered the house at 2:47 p.m. She walked through the living room, glancing around, making sure she was alone. Then she went to the kitchen, where I usually left my phone charging when I was home. She picked up my phone. She held it for several minutes, her fingers moving across the screen. She was doing something, creating something, accessing my messages, my photos, my contacts. Then she set the phone down and walked back to the living room. And she sat on my couch. And she talked. Out loud. To no one. "Okay," she said to the empty room, her voice clear on the audio. "Practice run, you need to be convincing." She took a deep breath. "Marcus, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I couldn't keep it a secret anymore. Natalie has been seeing someone else." She paused, as if imagining his response. I know, I couldn't believe it either, but I saw the messages, I saw the photos. She's been meeting him for months." Another pause. "I'm so sorry, Marcus. I know how much you love her, but you deserve to know the truth." She nodded to herself, satisfied with her performance. Then she said something that made my blood freeze. "Once she's gone, he'll finally see. He'll finally understand that I'm the one who really loves him. I've waited 15 years. I can wait a little longer. She smiled, a cold, satisfied smile, and reached for her phone. It's almost time, she said to whoever was on the other end. By this time next month, Natalie will be out of the picture, and Marcus will be mine. I sat frozen in front of the screen, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The footage played on, but I couldn't process anything else. My mind was stuck on those words, playing them over and over like a broken record. Once she's gone, he'll finally see. He'll finally understand that I'm the one who really loves him. I've waited 15 years. Marcus will be mine. 15 years. Diana had been in love with my husband for 15 years. Since before we were married, since before we were even engaged, since the very beginning. And I never knew. I rewound the footage and watched it again. Then again. Then a third time. Each viewing revealed new details. The way Diana's eyes lit up when she said Marcus's name, the possessive tone in her voice, the cold calculation behind her smile. This wasn't a sudden impulse. This wasn't a moment of weakness or a crime of passion. This was a plan that had been building for over a decade. And I had been too blind to see it. I spent the next 6 hours going through every piece of footage from the past 3 months. Every time Diana visited my house, every conversation we had, every moment she thought she was unobserved. The picture that emerged was horrifying. 3 weeks ago, Diana stopped by to help me choose a dress for a company event. I remembered that visit. We had laughed together, sipped wine, gone through my closet like we had done 100 times before. I thought it was a normal afternoon with my best friend. But the footage told a different story. While I was in the bathroom, Diana wandered through my bedroom. She opened my jewelry box and ran her fingers over my wedding ring, the ring I had taken off to try on bracelets. She held it up to the light, examining it. "Soon," she whispered, "soon this will be mine." Then she put it back and returned to the closet, her smile perfectly in place, when I emerged from the bathroom. 6 weeks ago, Diana came over for coffee. We sat in the kitchen and talked for 2 hours, about work, about the kids, about her dating life, which she claimed was non-existent. "I just can't find anyone who measures up," she had said, sighing dramatically. "I guess I'm too picky." I had laughed and told her she deserved the best. But the footage captured something I missed. After I left the room to take a phone call from work, Diana pulled out her phone and opened a photo album. She scrolled through picture after picture, all of Marcus. Marcus at our barbecue last summer. Marcus playing with the kids. Marcus in a suit at my company Christmas party. Marcus on the beach during our vacation, shirtless and smiling. She had dozens of photos, hundreds maybe. Photos she had taken herself when he wasn't looking. Photos she had saved from social media. Photos she had collected obsessively, like treasures. "You have no idea how much I love you," she whispered to the screen. "But you will, soon you will." The deeper I dug, the worse it got. I found footage of Diana going through my desk drawers, looking at my calendar, studying my schedule. She was learning my patterns, finding gaps, looking for opportunities. I found footage of her trying on my clothes when I wasn't home, dresses I had worn to events with Marcus. She stood in front of the mirror, posing, imagining herself in my place. I found footage of her taking photos of our family pictures, not to admire them, but to study them, to analyze them, to imagine herself replacing me in every frame. And I found footage of her accessing my phone multiple times over the past month, creating the fake messages and photos that she would eventually use to destroy my marriage. The scope of her obsession was staggering. This wasn't jealousy. This was something darker. Something that had been growing for years, hidden behind a mask of friendship and love. I needed to understand. How had I missed this? How had 15 years of friendship blinded me to what was right in front of my face? I thought back through our history, searching for signs. College. That's where it started. I met Diana during freshman orientation. We bonded immediately, two nervous 18-year-olds navigating a new world together. I met Marcus junior year. He was a senior, confident and charming, and I fell for him instantly. Diana was there through it all, the first date, the first kiss, the moment I realized I was in love. "He's perfect," I had gushed to her one night. "I think he might be the one." Diana had smiled and hugged me. "I'm so happy for you," she said. But now I wondered, what was behind that smile? What was she really feeling while I talked about Marcus night after night? Our wedding. Diana was my maid of honor. She helped me plan everything, the venue, the flowers, the dress. She was by my side every step of the way. On the night before the wedding, she gave a toast at my rehearsal dinner. "To Natalie," she said, raising her glass. "My best friend, my sister, the woman who found her perfect match." She had tears in her eyes. I thought they were tears of happiness. Now I wondered if they were tears of something else entirely. Her marriage. Diana had married a man named Greg 4 years after Marcus, and I was thrilled for her. Finally, she had found her own happiness. But the marriage fell apart within 3 years. Greg was unfaithful, she said. He had cheated on her with a coworker. I was devastated for her. I spent months helping her through the divorce, late-night phone calls, weekends of support, an endless supply of wine and tissues. "I just don't understand," she had sobbed. "I thought he loved me. I thought we had forever." I held her and promised that she would find love again. But now I wondered, had the divorce even happened the way she described? Had Greg really cheated? Or had Diana sabotaged her own marriage because she couldn't stop loving someone else? Someone who was already married. To me. The children. Diana adored Olivia and Ethan. She babysat them, bought them presents, took them on special outings. "You're so lucky," she would say, watching them play. "You have everything, Natalie, the perfect husband, the perfect kids, the perfect life." I had always taken it as a compliment. Now I heard the edge beneath the words. "You have everything. I have nothing. It's not fair." I spent the entire day reviewing footage and replaying memories. By evening, I had a complete picture of Diana's plan. She had been obsessed with Marcus for 15 years, since the moment she met him. She had watched me marry him, have children with him, build a life with him, all while hiding her true feelings behind a facade of friendship. Her own marriage had failed, whether because of her obsession or for other reasons, I didn't know. But after her divorce, she became more desperate, more determined, more willing to take drastic action. She started studying my life with clinical precision, learning my schedule, accessing my phone, creating fake evidence of an affair that never happened. Her plan was chillingly simple. Destroy my marriage with lies. Comfort Marcus in his grief. Eventually take my place, as his wife, as the mother figure to my children, as the center of the life I had built. She thought she was clever. She thought she had covered her tracks. She didn't know about the cameras. That evening, I made a decision. I could go to Marcus immediately, show him the footage, prove my innocence and expose Diana's lies. But I wanted more than vindication. I wanted her to face what she had done. I wanted to watch her world crumble the way she had tried to crumble mine. I wanted justice. I called Diana. She answered on the second ring, her voice sweet and concerned. "Natalie, how are you doing? I've been worried sick about you." The audacity, the sheer audacity of her pretending to care after what she had done. I forced my voice to remain steady. "I'm not good, Diana. Marcus told me. He told me what you said, about the affair." "Oh, Natalie." Her voice dripped with fake sympathy. "I'm so sorry. I hated having to tell him, but I couldn't keep watching you destroy your family." Destroy my family. The words made me want to scream. "I need you," I said instead. "Can you come over? I don't have anyone else to talk to." "Of course," she said immediately. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. Don't worry, Natalie, we'll get through this together." Together, as if we were still friends, as if she hadn't just tried to burn my life to the ground. "Thank you, Diana," I said. "I don't know what I'd do without you." I hung up and stared at my phone. In 20 minutes, she would walk through my front door, expecting to find a broken woman. Instead, she would find the truth. And I would watch her face as everything she had worked for, every lie, every scheme, every carefully constructed plan, came crashing down around her. I called Marcus. He answered hesitantly. "Natalie, I need you to come home," I said. "Now." "I'm not ready to." "Marcus, listen to me. I have proof. Proof that I never cheated. Proof that Diana lied about everything. But I need you to see it for yourself." There was a long pause. "What kind of proof?" "The cameras," I said. "The security cameras we installed 3 months ago. They recorded everything, Marcus. Everything Diana did when she thought no one was watching." Another pause, longer this time. "I'm on my way." I had 15 minutes to prepare. I queued up the most damning footage on the living room television. Diana rehearsing her lies. Diana confessing her plan. Diana looking at photos of my husband with obsessive devotion. I arranged the room carefully. 2 chairs facing the television. A 3rd chair near the door where Diana would sit when she arrived. She would be trapped. She would have nowhere to run. She would finally face the consequences of what she had done. Marcus arrived first. He walked through the door looking haggard, his face lined with exhaustion and confusion. "What is this about, Natalie? What did the cameras capture?" "Sit down," I said, "and watch." I pressed play. Diana appeared on screen, alone in our living room, practicing her performance. "Marcus, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but Natalie has been seeing someone else." Marcus stiffened. "I'm so sorry, Marcus. I know how much you love her, but you deserve to know the truth." The footage continued, Diana's confession, her obsession, her plan to take my place. "Once she's gone, he'll finally see. I've waited 15 years. Marcus will be mine." Marcus's face went white. "Oh my God," he whispered. "Oh my God." I paused the footage. "There's more," I said. "Hours more. Of her going through my phone, creating fake messages, rehearsing lies. She fabricated everything, Marcus. The affair never happened." He stared at the screen, his hands shaking. "I believed her," he said. "I believed every word. I thought you." "I know." "Natalie, I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you. I should have." The doorbell rang. Diana was here. The doorbell echoed through the house. Marcus and I looked at each other. His face was pale, his eyes still processing the betrayal he had just witnessed on screen. "She's here," I said quietly. "What do we do?" "We let her in. We let her think everything is going according to her plan. And then we show her exactly what we know." Marcus nodded slowly, his jaw tight. "I want to hear her explain this," he said. "I want to hear what possible justification she could have for destroying our family." "She won't have one," I said. "But yes, let her try." I walked to the front door, took a deep breath and opened it. Diana stood on the porch, her face arranged in an expression of perfect concern. She was dressed beautifully, more beautifully than usual for a casual visit. A flattering dress, full makeup, hair carefully styled. She had dressed up to comfort me through my marriage falling apart. The realization made my stomach turn. "Natalie," she said, reaching for me. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. How are you holding up?" I let her hug me, fighting every instinct to push her away. "Not good," I said, my voice trembling, not with sadness, but with rage I was barely containing. "I don't know what to do. Marcus won't even look at me." I know." She pulled back, her hands on my shoulders, her eyes full of fake sympathy. "This must be so hard for you, but we'll get through it together. I'm here for you." Together? The word was poison in her mouth. "Come in," I said. "Marcus is here. He said he wants to talk to both of us." A flicker of something crossed Diana's face. Surprise, concern, but she recovered quickly, her mask sliding back into place. "Of course," she said, "whatever you need." She followed me into the living room. Marcus was standing by the fireplace, his arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Diana hesitated in the doorway, sensing something off. "Marcus," she said carefully, "I'm so sorry about all this. I know it must be devastating." He didn't respond. "I want you to know that I struggled with whether to tell you," she continued, her voice dripping with rehearsed sincerity. "Natalie is my best friend. The last thing I wanted was to hurt either of you, but I couldn't watch her destroy your family. You deserve to know the truth." Still, Marcus said nothing. The silence stretched, growing heavier by the second. Diana glanced at me, uncertain. "Natalie, is everything okay?" "Sit down, Diana," I said. My voice was flat, cold, nothing like the broken woman she expected to find. She blinked. "What?" I said sit down. Something shifted in her expression, the first crack in her mask. "Natalie, you're scaring me. What's going on?" "Sit down." She lowered herself into the chair near the door, the chair I had positioned for exactly this purpose. Trapped, facing the television, nowhere to run. I picked up the remote. "I want to show you something," I said. The screen flickered to life. Diana's face appeared, her own face, captured by the security cameras she didn't know existed. She was sitting in my living room, alone, talking to the empty room. "Okay, practice run. You need to be convincing." Diana's real face went white. "Marcus, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I couldn't keep it a secret anymore. Natalie has been seeing someone else." On screen, Diana paused, practicing her delivery. I know, I couldn't believe it either, but I saw the messages, I saw the photos. She's been meeting him for months." The real Diana was frozen in her chair, her eyes fixed on the screen, her mouth hanging open. "I'm so sorry, Marcus. I know how much you love her, but you deserve to know the truth." On screen, Diana nodded to herself, satisfied with her performance. And then came the words that destroyed her. "Once she's gone, he'll finally see. He'll finally understand that I'm the one who really loves him. I've waited 15 years. I can wait a little longer." I paused the footage. The room was silent. Diana sat motionless, her face drained of all color, her hands gripping the arms of the chair so hard her knuckles were white. "Would you like me to continue?" I asked calmly. "There's more, hours more, you going through my phone, you creating fake messages, you taking photos of my husband like some kind of obsessed stalker." Diana's mouth moved, but no sound came out. "Nothing to say," Marcus spoke for the first time, his voice cold with fury. "You seem to have plenty to say when you were destroying my marriage." I can explain," Diana stammered. "Explain," I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "Explain what? Explain how you've been obsessed with my husband for 15 years. Explain how you fabricated an entire affair to break up our family. Explain how you were planning to comfort Marcus after I was gone and eventually take my place." "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like, Diana? Tell me, I'm dying to hear." Diana's composure shattered. Tears began streaming down her face. Real tears this time, not the calculated performance she had given Marcus. "You don't understand," she sobbed. "You've never understood." "Then help me understand," I said. "Help me understand how my best friend, the woman I trusted more than anyone, could do this to me." Diana looked at me, her eyes wild with desperation. "You have everything, Natalie. You've always had everything. The career, the husband, the children, the perfect life. And what do I have? Nothing. A failed marriage, an empty apartment, a life that means nothing. So you decided to steal mine." "I wasn't stealing. I was trying to take what should have been mine in the first place." Marcus stepped forward, his face dark with anger. "What should have been yours? Diana, I was never yours. I never showed any interest in you. I married Natalie. I love Natalie." "Because you never gave me a chance." Diana's voice rose to a shriek. I loved you first, Marcus, before she ever met you. I saw you at that party our junior year, and I knew you were the one. But before I could do anything, she swooped in and took you from me. I didn't swoop in, I said. I met him, I talked to him, we fell in love, that's not a crime. It was a crime to me. Diana was hysterical now, tears and mascara running down her face. I had to watch you have everything I wanted, for 15 years. I had to smile and pretend to be happy for you, while you lived the life I was supposed to have. And that justifies this, Marcus demanded. That justifies fabricating an affair, trying to destroy our family, trying to turn me against my own wife. Diana shook her head desperately. I just wanted you to see. I wanted you to see that she wasn't perfect, that she wasn't worthy of you. I thought if I could just open your eyes. Open my eyes to what? Lies, delusions. To me, Diana screamed. I wanted you to see me. The room fell silent again. Diana's breathing was ragged, her face a mess of tears and ruined makeup. She looked nothing like the polished, confident woman who had walked through my door 20 minutes ago. She looked broken. Part of me, a small, distant part, almost felt sorry for her. But then I remembered. The months of planning, the stolen access to my phone, the careful construction of fake evidence, the calculated lies she had told my husband. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was a sustained campaign of destruction. And she had almost succeeded. You need to leave, I said quietly. Diana looked up at me, desperation in her eyes. Natalie, please, I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. But we've been friends for 15 years. Doesn't that count for something? It counted for everything, I said. That's why this hurts so much. I would have done anything for you, Diana. I would have died for you. And you tried to destroy my life because you were jealous. I wasn't just jealous. Yes, you were. You were jealous of my marriage, my children, my happiness. And instead of being happy for me, instead of building your own life, you decided to tear mine down. I walked to the front door and opened it. Get out of my house. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't come to my door. We're done. Diana stood slowly, her legs unsteady. Natalie, please. Diana, Marcus's voice was ice. She said get out. Diana looked between us, from me to Marcus and back again, searching for any sign of weakness, any crack she could exploit. She found nothing. Her shoulders slumped, her face crumpled. And she walked out the door without another word. I closed the door behind her and leaned against it, my body suddenly heavy with exhaustion. It was over. The confrontation I had been dreading for days was finally over. But the aftermath was just beginning. Marcus crossed the room and stood in front of me. Natalie, he said, his voice cracking, I am so sorry. You believed her. I know I did, and I will never forgive myself for that. She was convincing. The evidence was detailed. Anyone might have believed her. But I'm not anyone. I'm your husband. I should have trusted you. I should have come to you first, asked for your side, given you the chance to explain. He reached for my hands, and I let him take them. Instead, I sat in the dark and assumed the worst about the woman I love. The woman who has never given me any reason to doubt her. The woman who has been faithful and loving and perfect for 12 years. Tears were streaming down his face now. I failed you, Natalie. I failed us, and I don't know how to make that right. I looked at him, this man I had loved since I was 21 years old. This man who had been deceived and manipulated by someone we both trusted. You didn't fail me, I said quietly. Diana failed us. She crafted a lie so convincing that anyone would have believed it. You're human, Marcus. You reacted to what you thought was proof. But nothing. You came home tonight. You watched the footage. You stood beside me when Diana tried to defend herself. That matters. It's not enough. Maybe not. Maybe we have work to do. Maybe we need to rebuild some trust. But I'm not ready to give up on us because of what she did. He pulled me into his arms, holding me tight. I love you, he whispered. I love you so much, I'm so sorry. I know, I said. I love you too. We stood there in the entryway, holding each other, while the weight of the evening slowly settled around us. It wasn't over, not really. We had healing to do, conversations to have, trust to rebuild. But we would do it together. And Diana would never hurt us again. The next few days were a blur of emotions. Relief, anger, grief, confusion. They cycled through me in waves, sometimes all at once, sometimes one at a time, leaving me exhausted and raw. I had won. I had proven my innocence. I had exposed Diana's lies and saved my marriage. But I had also lost something. 15 years of friendship. 15 years of memories. Graduations, weddings, bobbies, holidays, late-night conversations, shared tears and laughter. All of it now tainted by the knowledge that it had been a facade. Diana had never been my friend. She had been waiting, watching, planning. And that realization hurt more than I could put into words. Marcus stayed home from work the first 2 days. We talked for hours. About Diana, about our marriage, about the cracks in our foundation that had allowed her lies to take root. I should have known something was wrong, he said, staring into his coffee cup. Looking back, there were signs. The way she always found reasons to touch me. The way she laughed too hard at my jokes. The way she looked at you sometimes when you weren't paying attention. What do you mean? I don't know how to describe it. A flash of something in her eyes. Resentment, maybe. Jealousy. I noticed it a few times, but I always dismissed it. I thought I was imagining things. Why didn't you say anything? He shrugged helplessly. Because she was your best friend. Because I didn't want to cause problems. Because I convinced myself I was being paranoid. I reached across the table and took his hand. We both missed it, I said. We both trusted her. That's not a crime, Marcus. That's just being human. But I should have trusted you more. When she came to me with those screenshots, I should have questioned them. I should have asked for your side. Instead, I just believed her. The evidence was convincing. It wasn't that convincing. Not really. I believed her because part of me was afraid. Afraid that our life was too good to be true. Afraid that something had to be wrong. He looked at me with anguished eyes. I think I was looking for problems, Natalie, deep down, because I didn't believe I deserved to be this happy. I squeezed his hand. We need to talk to someone about this, I said gently. A professional, not just about Diana, but about us. About our fears and insecurities and how we communicate. You want to go to therapy. I want to make sure this never happens again. I want to build a marriage so strong that no one can tear it apart, not Diana, not anyone. Marcus nodded slowly. Okay, he said, let's do it. On the 3rd day, I made a decision. Diana had tried to destroy me in secret. She had whispered lies behind closed doors, counting on darkness and deception to achieve her goals. I would respond with light. I called my closest friends first. Sarah, who I had known since childhood. Jennifer, my colleague and confidant. Rebecca, who lived next door and had become like a sister over the years. I invited them to lunch at my house. I told them I had something important to share. They arrived looking concerned, sensing that something significant had happened. Is everything okay? Sarah asked, her brow furrowed. You sounded serious on the phone. I need to tell you something, I said. Something about Diana. They exchanged glances. Diana, Jennifer repeated. What about her? I took a deep breath. And I told them everything. The story took over an hour to tell. I showed them the footage, the most damning clips, the ones that proved beyond any doubt what Diana had done. I showed them the fake screenshots she had created and the real conversations from my phone that proved they were fabricated. By the time I finished, all 3 women were staring at me in stunned silence. Sarah spoke first. I can't believe this, Diana, our Diana. I couldn't believe it either, I said, but the cameras don't lie. 15 years, Rebecca whispered. She's been obsessed with Marcus for 15 years. Apparently, she was very good at hiding it. Jennifer's face had gone dark with anger. She came to me, she said quietly, Last week, she called me and said she was worried about Natalie's marriage. She hinted that there might be problems. I thought she was just being a concerned friend. My stomach dropped. What did you tell her? Nothing. I told her I didn't know what she was talking about. But she was fishing, Natalie. She was trying to spread the rumor before Marcus even confronted you. She wanted people to believe I was capable of an affair, I realized. So when the truth came out, everyone would already have doubts. That conniving. Sarah couldn't even finish the sentence. This is psychotic, Rebecca said flatly. I'm sorry, but there's no other word for it. Normal people don't do this. She needs professional help. What she needs is to face consequences, Jennifer said. She almost destroyed your family, Natalie. She almost took everything from you. I know. So, what are you going to do about it? I looked at my friends, these women who had come rushing to my side the moment I called. I'm not going to hide what she did, I said. I'm not going to protect her reputation while she tried to destroy mine, but I'm also not going to launch some kind of vendetta. I'm going to tell the truth to everyone who needs to know, and then I'm going to move on with my life. Sarah nodded approvingly. That's the right approach. Let the truth speak for itself. She'll lose everything, Rebecca said. Her friends, her reputation, her standing in the community. I know, I said quietly, but that's not my doing. That's the consequence of her choices. Word spread faster than I expected. Within a week, everyone in our social circle knew what Diana had done. I didn't have to tell most of them. Sarah, Jennifer, and Rebecca spread the word with righteous fury, making sure everyone understood exactly what kind of person Diana really was. The reactions were universal. Shock, horror, disgust. Phone calls poured in from friends who couldn't believe what they were hearing. Text messages of support arrived by the dozen. People who had known Diana for years expressed disbelief that she could be capable of such calculated cruelty. I always thought something was off about her, one friend confided, but I never imagined anything like this. She was so good at hiding it, another said. She seemed so normal, so caring. I let her babysit my kids, a third whispered, looking horrified. What if she had? I don't even want to think about it. Diana tried to defend herself. She called people, sent messages, tried to spin her own version of events. Natalie is exaggerating. It wasn't as bad as she's making it sound. The footage was taken out of context. I was just joking around. She's always been jealous of my friendship with Marcus. She's trying to push me out. But no one believed her. They had seen the footage. They had heard her own words. There was no context that could make Marcus will be mine sound like a joke. One by one, friends stopped returning her calls. Invitations stopped arriving. Social media connections disappeared. Diana was being erased from our community, not by me, but by the collective revulsion of everyone who had once called her friend. I heard from mutual acquaintances that Diana was struggling. She had lost her job. Apparently, the story had reached her workplace, and her employer decided they didn't want someone with that kind of judgment representing their company. She had tried to rejoin a book club we had both belonged to, but the members had quietly asked her not to come back. She had shown up at a neighborhood gathering, and conversations had stopped the moment she walked in. She left within 10 minutes. The isolation was total. The woman who had tried to steal my life had lost her own. Part of me felt satisfied. After everything she had done, the lies, the manipulation, the calculated attempt to destroy my family, she deserved to face consequences. She deserved to know what it felt like to lose everything. But another part of me felt something else. Sadness. Not for Diana, not exactly, but for what had been lost. 15 years of friendship, 15 years of memories, all of it gone, destroyed by her obsession and jealousy. I had thought I knew her. I had thought she was one of the few people in the world I could trust completely. I had been wrong. And that loss, the loss of the friend I thought I had, hurt more than anything Diana had actually done. 2 weeks after the confrontation, I received a letter. No return address, but I recognized Diana's handwriting immediately. I almost threw it away unopened. What could she possibly say that would matter? But curiosity got the better of me. I sat down at the kitchen table and tore open the envelope. Natalie, I know you probably won't read this. I know you have every right to throw it away without a second thought, but I needed to try. I'm not writing to make excuses. There are no excuses for what I did. I know that now. I think I always knew it, somewhere deep down, but I was too far gone to stop myself. I've started seeing a therapist. She says I have something called erotomania, a delusional disorder where you believe someone is in love with you when they're not. I don't know if that's what this is. All I know is that my feelings for Marcus consumed me. They became the center of my life, and I let them destroy everything that mattered. I lost you, Natalie, my best friend, the person who was always there for me, and I lost you because I couldn't let go of a fantasy. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm just asking you to know that I'm sorry, that I see what I did, that I'm trying to get help. I hope you and Marcus can rebuild. I hope your children never know how close I came to destroying their family. I hope you can find a way to be happy again. And I hope that someday, somehow, you can think of the good times we had without hating me. I know that's asking a lot, but it's all I have left to ask. Deanna. I read the letter 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it in a drawer. I didn't respond. I didn't know if I ever would. But for the first time since that Tuesday evening when my world fell apart, I felt something like peace. Diana was gone from my life. The threat she posed was neutralized. The truth had set me free. And now it was time to heal. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It's not a moment of revelation or a sudden lifting of pain. It's slow and messy and complicated. There are good days and bad days, steps forward and steps backward, moments when you think you've moved on, only to be ambushed by a memory that drags you right back into the darkness. But if you keep going, if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when it hurts, eventually, the good days start outnumbering the bad ones. That's what happened to us. We started therapy the week after Diana left. Dr. Michelle Warren was a marriage counselor recommended by a friend. She was in her 50s, with warm eyes and a calm presence that made even the most difficult conversations feel manageable. I want to be clear about something, she said during our first session. You're not here because your marriage is broken. You're here because you want to make it stronger. That's a very different starting point. It doesn't feel strong right now, Marcus admitted. It feels fragile, like it could shatter at any moment. That's normal, Dr. Warren said. You've both experienced a significant trauma. Someone you trusted tried to destroy your relationship with lies and manipulation. It's natural to feel vulnerable. But how do we move past it? I asked. How do we rebuild trust after something like this? Dr. Warren leaned forward. By being honest with each other, radically honest, about your fears, your insecurities, your needs, the things you've been afraid to say. She looked at Marcus. You believed Diana's lies, even without verifying them with your wife. Why? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Because part of me has always been afraid that I'm not enough, he finally said. That Natalie settled for me, that someday she would wake up and realize she could do better. I stared at him, stunned. Marcus, I've never thought that, not for 1 second. I know, but the fear is there anyway. It's irrational, it comes from, I don't know, my childhood, my parents' divorce, my own insecurities. Dr. Warren nodded. And Natalie, how did you feel when Marcus believed the lies? I thought about it. Betrayed, I said slowly. Not just by Diana, but by Marcus, I thought. If he really knew me, if he really trusted me, he would have known the affair wasn't real. So you felt unseen, unrecognized. Yes, exactly. Dr. Warren looked between us. This is good. This is the kind of honesty that rebuilds trust. You're both expressing vulnerable emotions, not accusations, not blame, but genuine feelings. That's the foundation we'll build on. We saw Dr. Warren, every week for the next 6 months. Some sessions were easy, breakthroughs and revelations that brought us closer together. Some sessions were brutal, old wounds torn open, painful truths exposed, tears and raised voices and moments when I wondered if we would make it. But we kept showing up. We kept talking. We kept fighting for us. Marcus changed in ways I hadn't expected. He became more attentive, more communicative, more present. He started leaving notes around the house, little love letters tucked into my purse, my nightstand, the kitchen counter. He planned date nights with thoughtful attention to details. He asked about my day and actually listened to the answers. "I took you for granted," he told me one evening as we sat on the back porch watching the sunset. "Not intentionally, but after 12 years I got comfortable. I stopped working at our marriage." "We both did," I admitted. "We got so caught up in work and kids and daily life that we forgot to nurture us. I don't want to make that mistake again." He reached for my hand. "I want to date you, Natalie, even after all these years. I want to keep falling in love with you." I smiled, a real smile, the first one that had come easily in weeks. "I'd like that," I said. The children adjusted better than I expected. We had kept them away from the worst of the drama. They knew that something had happened with Aunt Diana and that she wouldn't be coming around anymore, but we spared them the details. Olivia, perceptive as always, sensed that something significant had occurred. "Is everything okay with you and Dad?" she asked one afternoon, her eyes searching my face. "Yes, sweetheart, everything's okay." "You seem different, both of you." "Different how?" She thought about it. "Closer, maybe, like you're actually paying attention to each other." I pulled her into a hug, marveling at her emotional intelligence. "We had a rough patch," I said, "but we worked through it. That's what families do." "And Aunt Diana, did she do something bad?" I hesitated. "She made some choices that hurt our family, and because of those choices, she can't be part of our lives anymore." Olivia nodded slowly. "I didn't really like her anyway," she said matter-of-factly. "She always looked at Dad weird." I laughed despite myself. "You noticed that?" "Everyone noticed that, Mom. You were the only one who didn't see it." Out of the mouths of babes. Ethan was simpler about the whole thing. "So Diana's not coming to my birthday party?" he asked. "No, honey, she's not." "Good. She always gave me boring presents anyway." And that was that. Children have a way of cutting through complexity that adults could learn from. I reconnected with friends I had neglected. Sarah, Jennifer, Rebecca, they became my anchors during the healing process. We had weekly lunches, regular phone calls, spontaneous coffee dates. They listened without judgment. They offered support without pressure. They reminded me who I was outside of the roles of wife and mother. "You're stronger than you know," Sarah told me one afternoon. "What you went through would have broken a lot of people, but you're still standing." Some days it doesn't feel like I'm standing. Some days it feels like I'm barely crawling. "Crawling still counts," she said firmly. "As long as you're moving forward, you're winning." I also found new friendships. There was Michelle, a woman I met at a neighborhood book club. She was warm and funny and completely unconnected to the drama with Diana. Spending time with her felt like a fresh start, a chance to build a friendship on a clean foundation. There was Patricia, my new therapist. I had started individual sessions in addition to couples counseling. She helped me process not just Diana's betrayal, but the deeper patterns in my life that had made me vulnerable to it. "You have a tendency to overtrust," she observed during one session. "You assume the best about people, even when the evidence suggests otherwise." Is that a bad thing? Not inherently, but it can be dangerous if you don't balance it with healthy skepticism. Trust should be earned, Natalie, not given freely. How do I learn to do that without becoming cynical? By paying attention, by trusting your instincts, by giving people the chance to prove themselves before you open your heart completely. I thought about Diana, about all the signs I had missed. about how my unconditional trust had blinded me to her true nature. "I think I understand," I said slowly. "I was so focused on being a good friend that I forgot to evaluate whether she was being a good friend to me." Patricia nodded. "Exactly. Relationships should be mutual. If someone is always taking and never giving, that's a red flag. If someone makes you feel small or insecure, that's a red flag. If someone seems overly interested in your spouse or your life, that's a red flag." Deanna did all of those things, I realized, and I just explained them away. That's what we do when we love someone. We make excuses. We rationalize. We convince ourselves that what we're seeing isn't what it appears to be. How do I stop doing that? By trusting yourself. Your instincts are good, Natalie. Your gut was probably telling you that something was wrong with Diana long before the cameras proved it. You just weren't listening. She was right. There had been moments, tiny, fleeting moments, when I had sensed something off about Diana. A look in her eyes, a tone in her voice, a feeling of unease that I had quickly dismissed. I had ignored my instincts because I didn't want to believe the truth. I wouldn't make that mistake again. 6 months after the confrontation, I felt ready to move on. Not to forget, I would never forget what Diana had done, but to stop letting it define me, to stop carrying the weight of her betrayal every moment of every day. I took the footage from the security cameras and archived it on a secure drive. I would keep it forever evidence, in case Diana ever tried to reinvent history, but I didn't need to watch it anymore. I gathered the fake screenshots and the letter Diana had written and put them in a box in the back of my closet. Out of sight, out of mind. And I made a conscious decision to let go. It wasn't easy. Some days the anger still surged through me, hot and bitter and demanding release. Some days the grief overwhelmed me, sadness for the friendship I had lost, for the woman I thought Diana was. But I had tools now: therapy, communication, self-awareness. When the dark feelings came, I didn't push them away. I sat with them, I acknowledged them, and then I let them pass. That's what healing looks like. Not the absence of pain, but the ability to experience it without being consumed. 1 year after the confrontation, Marcus and I renewed our vows. It wasn't a big ceremony, just our immediate family, a few close friends, and a efficient in our backyard. The children were there, dressed up and grinning. 12 years ago, Marcus said, his voice thick with emotion, I made promises to you. I promised to love you, to honor you, to stand by you through good times and bad. He took my hands. This past year, I failed those promises. I doubted you. I believed lies about you. I let someone come between us. Tears were streaming down his face. But you gave me another chance. You fought for us. You proved that our marriage was worth saving. He squeezed my hands. So today, I'm making those promises again. And this time, I mean them more than ever. I will love you. I will trust you. I will stand by you no matter what, for the rest of my life. I wiped my own tears and smiled. You broke my heart, I said simply. When you believed her, when you doubted me, it was the worst pain I've ever felt. Marcus's face crumpled. But you also healed it, I continued. By fighting for us, by showing up to therapy even when it was hard, by becoming the husband I always knew you could be. I looked at our children, watching us with wide eyes. Marriage isn't perfect, I said. Life isn't perfect. People we trust will let us down. Challenges we never expected will test us. I turned back to Marcus. But if we face those challenges together, if we communicate honestly, support each other unconditionally, and never give up, we can survive anything. I squeezed his hands. I love you, Marcus, more than I did 12 years ago, more than I did yesterday, and I will love you more tomorrow. I love you too, he whispered. We kissed, and our children cheered. And somewhere in my heart, a wound that had been slowly healing finally closed. 2 years have passed since that Tuesday evening when I came home to find my husband sitting in the darkness. 2 years since Diana tried to destroy everything I loved. 2 years of healing, growing, and becoming stronger than I ever imagined possible. I am 41 years old now. My hair has a few more gray strands than it did before. My face has a few more lines, lines of worry, lines of laughter, lines that tell the story of everything I've survived. But my eyes are clear. And my heart, though scarred, is full. Marcus and I are stronger than ever. I know that sounds like a cliché, the kind of thing people say when they don't want to admit that something broke them. But in our case, it's true. We communicate differently now, more openly, more honestly. We don't let small resentments fester into big ones. We don't assume we know what the other person is thinking. We ask. We listen. We show up for each other every single day. I didn't know marriage could be like this, Marcus said to me recently, as we lay in bed watching the sunrise through our window. I thought we were happy before, but this is something else entirely. What is it? He thought for a moment. Real, he said finally. This feels real, like we're not just playing the parts of husband and wife, we're actually being husband and wife. I smiled and nestled closer to him. It took almost losing everything to get here, I said, but I wouldn't trade what we have now for anything. Neither would I. The children are thriving. Olivia is 12 now, a preteen with strong opinions and a fierce sense of justice. She's become my confidant in ways I never expected, sharing her thoughts and feelings with surprising depth. Mom, she asked me recently, do you ever miss Diana? I thought about the question. I miss who I thought she was, I said honestly. The friend I believed she was, but that person wasn't real. The real Diana was someone I never actually knew. Olivia nodded thoughtfully. That's sad, she said, to think you know someone and then find out you didn't. It is sad, but it taught me something important. What? That I need to pay attention to who people are, not just who I want them to be. And that my instincts are usually right, even when I don't want to listen to them. She considered this. I think I do that too sometimes, she admitted. Ignore my gut when it tells me something's wrong. Then you're already ahead of where I was at your age. Trust yourself, sweetheart. You're smarter than you know. She hugged me, and I held her close, grateful beyond words for this child, who had somehow become my teacher. Ethan is 10 now, still energetic, still mischievous, still the light of my life. He doesn't remember much about Diana. She's become a faint memory for him, a face from old photographs, a name that occasionally comes up in conversation. Who was that lady who used to bring me boring presents? He asked once, out of the blue. Someone who used to be part of our lives, I said simply, but she's not anymore. Why not? Because she made choices that hurt our family, and we don't keep people in our lives who hurt us. He nodded, satisfied with that explanation, and went back to his video game. Children accept the world as it is. They don't need every detail. They just need to feel safe and loved. I make sure my children feel both, every single day. I never heard from Diana again. After the letter, the one where she apologized and mentioned seeing a therapist, there was only silence. I don't know where she is now. I don't know if she got the help she needed. I don't know if she ever understood the full weight of what she tried to do. Part of me hopes she did. Part of me hopes she found some version of peace, even if she could never undo the damage she caused. But most of me doesn't think about her at all anymore. She consumed so much of my mental energy for so long, first as a friend, then as a betrayer, then as a wound that wouldn't heal. I gave her years of my life, years of my heart, years of my trust. I'm not giving her any more. She is a chapter that has ended. A door that is closed. A ghost from a past life that no longer defines me. I've thought a lot about friendship since everything happened. What it means, what it requires, what it looks like when it's real versus when it's an illusion. I used to think friendship was about history, about how long you'd known someone, about shared experiences and inside jokes and the accumulated weight of years together. But I was wrong. Friendship isn't about time. It's about truth. It's about someone who sees you clearly, your flaws, your struggles, your imperfections, and loves you anyway. It's about someone who celebrates your success without jealousy, supports you through failure without judgment, and tells you hard truths even when they're difficult to hear. Diana never did any of those things. She pretended to celebrate my success while secretly resenting it. She pretended to support me while secretly plotting my destruction. She told me comfortable lies instead of uncomfortable truths. She was never my friend. She was a performance of friendship, convincing enough to fool me for 15 years, but ultimately hollow at the core. Real friendship, I've learned, is rare. It's not something you find easily or keep without effort. It requires vulnerability and honesty, and the willingness to show up even when it's inconvenient. I have real friends now. Sarah, who has known me since childhood and loves me without conditions. Jennifer, who tells me when I'm being ridiculous and supports me anyway. Rebecca, who showed up at my door with wine and tissues the night everything fell apart. Michelle, my new friend from book club, who has become a source of joy and lightness in my life. Patricia, my therapist, who has helped me understand myself in ways I never did before. These women are my tribe. They are the sisters I chose. And I treasure them more than they will ever know. I've also learned to treasure myself. For so long, I defined my worth by my relationships, by how good a wife I was, how devoted a mother, how loyal a friend. I gave and gave and gave, never stopping to ask if I was receiving anything in return. But I'm different now. I set boundaries. I say no when I need to. I prioritize my own well-being alongside the well-being of others. I've started painting again, a hobby I abandoned years ago when life got too busy. I've started running, something I never thought I would enjoy, but which has become a meditation for me. I've started reading for pleasure, taking long baths, spending time alone with my own thoughts. I've remembered who I am outside of my roles. And I've discovered that I like her. This woman, this 41-year-old survivor with her gray hairs and her laugh lines and her scarred but healing heart, is someone I'm proud to be. Someone I would choose to be friends with. Someone I trust. The cameras are still there. We kept the security system, though we rarely think about it anymore. It runs quietly in the background, recording our ordinary days, the kids doing homework, Marcus and me cooking dinner, the dog chasing squirrels in the backyard. Sometimes, I think about what those cameras captured 2 years ago. Diana rehearsing her lies. Diana confessing her obsession. Diana revealing the darkness she had hidden for so long. Without those cameras, she might have succeeded. My marriage might have ended. My family might have shattered. My life might have taken a completely different path. Technology saved me. But more than that, truth saved me. The truth, once revealed, was undeniable. It cut through Diana's lies like light through darkness. It proved what words alone never could. And it set me free. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for walking with me through the accusation, the investigation, the confrontation, the healing. Thank you for staying until the end. I know that many of you watching have your own stories. Your own Dianas, friends who smiled to your face while plotting behind your back. Your own moments of betrayal, when someone you trusted revealed themselves to be someone entirely different. I want you to know something. You are not foolish for trusting. You are not naive for believing in people. You are not weak for being hurt when that trust is betrayed. You are human. And being human means opening your heart to others, even knowing that some of them might not deserve it. But I also want you to know this. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If someone makes you feel uneasy, there's usually a reason. If your gut tells you that a friend isn't really a friend, listen to it. I ignored my instincts for 15 years. I explained away the warning signs. I convinced myself that Diana was who she pretended to be, even when something deep inside me whispered that she wasn't. Don't make my mistake. Your intuition is a gift. Use it. She told my husband I was cheating. She fabricated evidence. She rehearsed lies. She planned to steal my life while smiling at me across the dinner table. She didn't know I had the cameras. And those cameras saved everything. But even without cameras, the truth has a way of coming out. Lies are exhausting to maintain. Masks eventually slip. People reveal themselves sooner or later for who they really are. If someone is plotting against you right now, if someone is spreading lies or scheming behind your back, take comfort in this. The truth will emerge. It might take time. It might take patience. It might require more strength than you think you have. But truth always wins in the end. So here's my question for you. Who in your life makes you feel uneasy? Who smiles too brightly while their eyes stay cold? Who seems a little too interested in your spouse, your success, your happiness? Pay attention. Trust yourself. And don't be afraid to protect what's yours. My name is Natalie. I was almost destroyed by someone I called my best friend. And I survived. More than survived. I rebuilt my marriage. I deepened my friendships. I discovered my own strength. I became the woman I was always meant to be. And that woman, scarred but whole, wary but hopeful, wounded but healed, is someone I'm finally proud to be. If this story meant something to you, please subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who might need to hear it. Leave a comment telling me your own story. I read every single one, and every single one matters. And remember, no matter what lies someone has told about you, no matter what schemes are unfolding in the darkness, no matter how broken you feel right now, the truth will set you free. It set me free, and it will set you free too. This is Natalie, and that's my story. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other.